It's time for the Queen's Derby broadcast. If anybody's listening, please let me know so I know that it's working, because that would be great. Yes, I am singing because that is how I roll. So I'm still learning about how to do these broadcasts by myself with no help. Um, and tonight I threw my kids in the car and drove them to the beach, which is 45 minutes away, and we played in the sand and it was fun. We had a picnic, which they didn't eat because kids, and then we drove back, and on the way back I was like, let's go to the bookstore. So then I let them each pick out a book, and that was great. And then all of a sudden I looked at the clock and I was like, oh yeah, broadcast in like 10 minutes. Going! And I made it in time, so that's exciting. This is a very special week. This happens like once or twice per sim year, that the race that we're calling in the game corresponds with the race in real life. So tonight is the Queen's Derby, and this weekend is the 158th Queen's Plate, which this race is modeled after. And I just published an article about the Queen's Plate, and I learned all sorts of stuff about it, such as when Queen Elizabeth dies, then it'll become the King's Plate, and I didn't know that. And also, it's older than Canada, which hurt my brain. But the thing that I loved about it is that people get mad at it for being like a prestigious $1 million event in real life, but it's restricted to Canadian breds, and in the sim, it's open to everybody. We usually end up getting the Derby winner in here if he doesn't win the Preakness or the Crown. That didn't happen this year. Conqueror did go to the Belmont Long Island Classic. How's this going for me? But in the olden days, back when the Queen's Plate first began in real life, it was actually written as a huge stakes race for 5-year-old and up maidens. That was the point of it. Can you imagine? Like, the biggest race in your country is for farm horse maidens that had never run in a race. Like, I was way too excited when I figured that out, and was very happy to write all about that. So, anyway, tonight is the Queen's Derby, and we have a field of 10, and you know what would be fantastic would be if I actually had this race open and could talk about it, but that requires being prepared and not yammering about real life. Oh, that's week 11. That's not helpful. I thought about getting a MC for tonight. That would have been smart. So yeah, field of 10, and there are several horses that ran in the Long Island Classic 2 days ago that I really thought should have been here. John F. Kennedy, for sure. Who else was in that race? Well, now I want to figure out who else I thought should have been in that race. Conqueror. I mean, she didn't know that he wasn't going to love a mile and a half. He did come on at the end. Nowitzki, I thought, should probably be in here. Vector. Hawk. Yeah, maybe even Fighting Spirit. So that's their loss because they all ran 3 days ago. And here we have the field, which is basically 3 standout horses and the other 7. Now, the first horse is Sparks at Night, and this is a me bred that is by Editors, and John Exet owns this one. He costs $2 million as a yearling. And this horse is one of those questionable at a mile and a quarter types, because Editors by Zulu Dancer, no mile and a quarter happening there. Excuse me, had to cough. This horse is a front runner, led every step of the way last out in a non-winners of 3. It's 2 for 7 lifetime with a highest speed figure of 86. So that's the rail horse. Anoint Me is number 2, and this horse is owned by Dee's Racing Stable. Dee's Racing Stable is the real life, or is the moniker for real life Santino Di Paola, who lives in Canada and loves this race and photographs it every year while training his own string of horses and nursing a music career. So he's basically the bomb. And he always wants to win this race. He always has a couple horses in, even if they're long shots. He does it on purpose because you never know. So there's a prep race for this race called the Queen's Trial, and that was won by Am I a Madman, who's in this race, and Anoint Me was fourth in that event. So probably a long shot, hasn't won since week 16 of last year. Another front runner, if he can get to the lead. He does his 2 wins were leading every step of the way, but if he can't get to the lead early, things just don't work out for this one. Next up is probably your prohibitive favorite. This is Ridgewood. Ridgewood is a homebred for Eric Nalbone, and this is a man of mystery out of Corona, which makes him a half to everything that's good right now, right? The question with Ridgewood is that he was undefeated going into the Derby. He'd run a 99, a 97, a 90. What happened to Ridgewood? Because in the Derby, he was favored or second choice, and he finished 7th. Then he wheels back in the Baltimore Crown, and he does bust a 92 and still ran 5th. So this is absolutely the right spot for him. I love that he's in here. He could have gone to the Long Island Classic, and he probably would have lost again because he just, I don't know, he's got something going on. But this is a much lighter field. No one else in here has a highest speed figure of 99, I don't believe. And yeah, this is definitely your favorite, I believe, in Ridgewood, unless he's just a pretender, or if for some reason he's a man of mystery Corona that can't go long, which sounds hard. Next up is The Flame Still Burns, and to me this is probably the second choice. Brianna McKenzie, homebred by Our Lions Reel out of The Other Man mare. I love this colt, and I actually thought he would run in the Long Island Classic, and at first I was all miffy that he didn't, and then I realized that he was in this race, and with Brianna McKenzie being a Canadian, that makes more sense. This guy won a Derby prep in the Keyboard Courage, which is a grade 2 with a 93. He's also been known to run as high as 95. He won 4 of his first 5 starts, but he was 5th in the Louisville Derby, which I always say, I'm going to say this a million times, that if you run 10th or higher in the Derby, you're doing all right. Like, they're all the same horse, and someone has to be 10th, If you run 10th or lower, well, then you might just be a cut below, but 5th is great. So this is a perfect spot for this horse. I love this race placement. He'll love a 1.25 miles. Everything about this is the bomb. So if Ridgewood is not the horse we all thought he was, this is the horse that would probably beat him. Next up, we have Hide Behind, which apparently was bred by me, but I have no idea why I named this horse that. It is a Keep Your Promise out of a literature mare, so distance not going to be a problem. $3.2 million purchase. Was second last out in the Queen's Trial by a length, and before that won the Wild Rush in Japan, where this horse has been for the last few months. Wow, there's all sorts of sand in my hair. That's disgusting. Highest lifetime speed figure is an 88. This is another horse that likes to lay just off the pace and then pounce and go for the win. 3 for 6 lifetime. Definitely in with a shot for Alex Puderbob. As I said, distance not going to be an issue. Next up, we have the third / co-second choice in this race, and that is Boomtown. This is Susie Rydell's horse in here, who was undefeated going into the Derby and finished 5th, so 10th, splitting the field. A lot of people thought he would be better than that because he was unbeaten before. He'd beaten the likes of John F. Kennedy, but you know what? That was the only decent horse that he'd beaten. Everyone else that he beat was kind of meh. I don't know where any of those horses are anymore, which is how you know they probably weren't the best horses. He is a dual grade 1 winner, but the 10th in the Derby is scary because does that mean he didn't like the distance, or does that just mean the Derby's hard and he's going to totally win this? This is a son of Mint out of Rose, which makes him a half to Alonzi, Oud, Cyberman, Raynette, Bad Wolf, Nestine, all of these really, really fancy horses. There's a 2-year-old that hasn't been named yet, but it's a freak. Shocker, I know. And let's see what the yearling is. There's a yearling, also not named yet. Oh my gosh, it's only a stakes. What a slacker. Here's the question. What do all those horses have in common? Alonzi, Oud, Cyberman, etc., etc.? None of them loved a 1.25 miles, so interesting. Next up, we have Team Player for Xander Zone, who just had an auction end a little bit ago. This is a stored bred by Nyquist, who I love. I think he's a decent sire in the game. Very tricky to get the right kind of mares to him, though. I could definitely see like really nice mile and an eighth mares. That's where you should be with this one. Team Player coming off a 4th place finish in the Maritime Stakes, which is the first big Canadian prep for the Queen's Derby. That was a grade 3. He hasn't won since breaking his maiden in a non-winners of 2 last year. Yeah. Year 46, that was last year. Since then, second, second, and fourth, so only 1 for 4 lifetime with a high speed figure of 85, but apparently this is just Canadaville because Xander's own, another native Canadian. He also has a homebred in the next stall, and that is Family Matters. This one is an Uncle Mo. How weird is that? That he has a Nyquist, who's by Uncle Mo, and an Uncle Mo. Weird. Out of a Just Victory mare, Family Matters has not won since winning the Game Point Sired Stakes week 14 of last year. That was his maiden breaking effort as well. Fourth last out in the New York, New York. I do not have a problem with this horse in general. I think that this is a decent spot for him, but I do have a problem with the fact that he hasn't run since week 4, and week 4 to week 6 is hard. But to make up for that, he did have a 5 furlong workout, and if that's, if you suddenly find yourself having a problem like this where you haven't been able to enter your horses, the 5 furlong workout is 100% what he should have done, and it's what he did, so it was perfect. 2 more horses to go, and then it's going to be race time. Number 9 is Am I a Madman, who I 150% thought was owned by Nene Hunter, but I'm probably thinking of the sire Am I a Good Man. This horse is owned by Nikki Everdeen, bred by me, out of a mare named My Madness, who I really wanted this mare to be like the actual bomb, and she's been really frustrating. However, her yearling, who sold to Nina Olson for only $1 million, is like the reason that I kept her, and she's not on the chopping block. Am I a Madman is very good, and he loves to win. He won on this track in the Queen's Trial, 2 weeks ago? That was by a length. Before that, he won a non-winners of 2. He is 3 for 7 lifetime, never been worse than 4th. Yes. 89 is his highest speed figure of his career, and definitely coming to the race in good form. So last up, we have number 10, Dee's Opportunity, and this is a son of Lonnie, and that's pretty much my favorite thing that I've ever seen. Lonnie out of a Harry Potter mare, so 1.25 miles shouldn't be a problem. This is Dee's Racing Stable's last entrant in this field. Only 1 for 6. Obvious, what am I trying to say? Long shot. Santino would admit that. Interestingly enough, Santino owns this one, and Nikki Everdeen bred this one. So lots of other people's trash or other people's treasure kind of animals in here. And that is your 10-horse field for the Queen's Derby, which is $1 million race going 1.25 miles on the dirt. Who do you like? Do you like one of the big 3 favorites? Do you think it's possible for an upset? Let me know, because we have 1 minute to post, which also means you have 1 minute to get all your bets in for today. It is post time now for the Queen's Derby. I am super ultra excited to be, how do I say this in a way that wasn't going to come across wrong? To be like a part-time Canadian this weekend when I go to my first Queen's Plate in real life. Can't believe that I have been covering races there for 4 years, almost 5, and I have never been to a Queen's Plate. So that's a giant fail on my part, but I'm excited to call this race, and I'm excited to go. And don't forget that this coming Monday, I will not be doing a broadcast for the second leg of the Triple Crown because I will be in the Canada. So yeah. Anyway, bets are going to be closed now, and the betting pool for the Queen's Derby is going to... Hey, there's all sorts of bets on here. Good job, guys. Wow, how do I close betting? I feel like I have this problem every time I do a broadcast now. Okay, betting closes at $52,200, and the 10 horses are going in the gate. They're off in the Queen's Derby, and Hide Behind had a slow start, but that's okay because he runs in mid-pack anyway. Everyone else was away well, and Am I a Madman is rushed up to go to the front end. Joined by Anoint Me and Sparks at Night, then Ridgewood tracking fourth early with The Flame Still Burns, then Hide Behind. Team Player, Family Matters, Boomtown, and Dee's Opportunity is already going to be well off the pace. So they go under the wire the first time, they have one circuit to go. Am I a Madman? And he leads by more than a length. The next flight's behind him. It's Anoint Me, Sparks at Night, and Ridgewood. Those three well ahead of The Flame Still Burns and Hide Behind. Then come the rest, Team Player, Family Matters, Boomtown, and 4 lengths back to Dee's Opportunity. 6 furlongs left to run down in the Queen's Derby, and Am I a Madman? He leads by a mile and a quarter. That'd be a lot. A length and a quarter with Anoint Me second. He's moved ahead of Sparks at Night, who's a length back third. Ridgewood has 3 lengths to make up. He's got 2 in front of The Flame Still Burns, then Hide Behind and Team Player. They're stringing out now. Family Matters and Boomtown has a dozen lengths to make up. Then it comes Dee's Opportunity. 5.5 left to go. It's Am I a Madman and Anoint Me, Sparks at Night, Ridgewood, The Flame Still Burns, and Hide Behind. Team Player, Family Matters, Boomtown, and Dee's Opportunity. But here he goes now, and Ridgewood just got let loose, and Ridgewood's going to lead them around the turn. Am I a Madman is stunned. The Flame Still Burns is moving up. Anoint Me and Hide Behind. Sparks at Night. Boomtown gets roused, but he's got a long way to come. They're at the top of the stretch, and Ridgewood is darting away. Ridgewood, The Flame Still Burns up into second. Am I a Madman trying to hold on? Here comes Boomtown and Hide Behind, but Ridgewood is long gone in the Queen's Derby, and he's going to find redemption today as Ridgewood's going to win by at least 3. The Flame Still Burns is second, Boomtown third, then Am I a Madman, and Hide Behind was fifth. The official winner is Ridgewood. He's a 3-year-old chestnut colt by Man of Mystery out of Corona by Awake As I Am. He's a homebred for Eric Nalbone, and he is 648 lifetime. Will he go on to win the entire Canadian Triple Crown? Could happen. I would not be surprised. Alright, thanks, bud. Sorry about that. Yeah, gonna go take care of my children now, and I will not see you guys next week, but I will see you week 12 Friday. I'm pretty sure. Yes. Yes, and don't forget to please, please, pretty please send us EquestriaCon selfies. That would be amazing. We have almost nothing so far. We've only had 3 submissions, and we're starting to be discouraged, so that would be great. Thank you, everybody. Bye.